Well, relatives, I'm here to share a message about hypnotherapy and how we can utilize the key to the subconscious mind, hypnotherapy, to benefit our realities and be in alignment to our desired reality that we wish to have to be a healthy human being. So I made this chart and this is really cool. I'm really stoked about this chart. I learned it in my hypnotherapy class that I'm taking, and um, I'm going to further explain it. So let's start with the basics. The primitive area is the flight or fight mechanism and part of the brain that is linked also to the subconscious. The subconscious is considered the knowns. The knowns are what is created the first moment we get out of the womb, what we identify with positive or negative experiences. And this is where our reactivity or reactions or projections could come from, the subconscious mind. And this is created when we're growing up with our primary caregiver or someone very close to us that took care of us primarily. Uh, 88% of the mind, how we receive information, it goes and filters through the subconscious mind. And then 12% of that information, 12% of the mind is filtered through the conscious mind. So that's why sometimes we can have this conscious decision not to do something and to be disciplined in not doing something or doing something. And then we almost have a battle within because we don't end up doing it, or something happens, and guaranteed most likely it is linked to the subconscious memory of good and bad that we identify with. And for instance, someone has a conscious decision to not drink or you know use drugs, but somewhere along our not always childhood, but somewhere along the line, we have created a positive relation to the act that made us feel better through coping mechanisms or whatever the case may be. So the conscious mind has that determination, but then the subconscious mind creeps in and it almost takes over the whole experience, right? But there is a way to reharmonize what is in the subconscious mind for us to create our desired reality. And the conscious mind is the willpower, decision, reason. That is our knowing, that is ever evolving, that is here right now. What we consciously know, we think of something um, that it feels good to us in this moment. Um, and then, so the bridge between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is the critical mind. And this critical mind, uh, depending on the situation, can be altered. So, when we have sensory overload or too much going on in our environment and we become overwhelmed, our critical mind becomes into a state, transforms into the state of hypnosis, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you speak to yourself and depending on what you take in as your truth in that moment. So, for instance, when we become overwhelmed in any scenario, even walking into a store, like it's sensory overload is like an epidemic. It is an epidemic in this society, and so that's what brings many people into the state of hypnosis without them even being conscious of it, and then they create and make decisions basis on what their environment told them or what someone told them in that hypnotic state, because there's so much going on. And a lot of what is happening in the world today with the TV and the internet, there's a lot. It's a lot of information. So we can, as a human race, as a human collective, we can potentially be falling into a state of hypnosis at all times when we're watching a movie, when we're watching Netflix, when we're watching TV. And it could even get to the point where that hypnosis state of mind in the critical mind with the sensory overload going on has become our coping mechanism and become a safe place that we've created. even though we are being hypnotized without us realizing it. And and this is where hypnotherapy could come in and ch- change and co-create a new reality for the subconscious mind. So the critical mind um, is the bridge, and we have the tool of hypnotherapy to almost penetrate the subconscious mind. Any point of reason or situation that comes up, we have the choice to be able to go into a state of hypnotherapy or hypnosis. It's not always a negative connotation. If it's a hypnosis that is not agreed upon within your free will, then it could be kind of tricky to navigate. But if you're agreeing upon hypnotizing yourself in for a good intent, with a positive intent, with a uplifting intent in that moment, then it could benefit um, your experience on this earth. So the hypnotherapy, it can put this at ease, this critical mind at ease, so you're able to receive information. Because when that critical mind is altered, whether it be from sensory overload or from relaxation, then that's when our subconscious mind and new affirmations could be formed. Um, it's a beautiful thing. This is a really cool chart. I'm really into it. There is also the term suggestibility. So suggestibility is just a fancy word for how we receive information from each other. So there is the emotional receiving and there is the physical receiving. And this is created in the subconscious mind again when we are young with our primary caregiver. So, for instance, when someone asks your name, what's your name? Do you automatically come with the response, oh, my name is Sierra, right? Or, yes, I could tell you my name. Uh, the physical response, very straightforward, is yes, I could tell you my name. But the emotional response, almost inference, inferring to something automatically. So this could be a beautiful thing because you're quick and witted, but it could also mean that you assume a lot, and and it's not black or white. So not everyone receives information on the physical, straightforward term, and not everyone receives information just from the emotional way, the emotional suggestibility. It is usually a balance, and there is a term for someone who receives 50-50 all the time, and they are always in a hypnotic state. But so the way that you remember on how you receive, I guess, is reflecting on childhood. So, for instance, if your mom or your dad or your primary caregiver is telling you they love you, and oh, I love you so much, and they show it with their actions, that's a very straightforward way of giving to someone. And I love you. I'm very straightforward. And then that creates, when you're a child, a physical receiving mode inside of you. So if your caregiver tells you, I love you, but then does differently or abuses you, and then it could even get to the extent of like giving you kisses afterwards and things like that. That's what causes like both to intertwine. So there is a little bit of that in all of us, but the emotion, like if you're in, um, oh, what is the word? It's like if you are always, yeah, coming to terms with something on yourself, like by yourself, assuming assumption, yes, if you're assuming anything automatically a lot, that is an indication that you are receiving from emotional state of mind. And nothing is bad or good. We have a mix of both, all of us. um, I personally got 58% physical, which is straightforward, and then 42% emotional. So I got to put myself in check. Um, But I try to see as everything that I receive as a very neutral state. So with hypnotherapy and hypnosis, to do self hypnosis, you can always um, put your state of mind and your beingness, your foundation of self, and your receiving of self, receiving of others, and giving to others and giving to yourself with the foundation of neutrality, which is the same vibration that Earth expresses and sees us with. Some want to say different, but that is okay. Um, this is just what I'm taught in hypnotherapy school, but this is just a lay down of the way the mind works, and if we can link that to the spirit, if we could link, let's go back to the chart, the critical mind, um to the spirit, and how the key of hypnotherapy can be a spiritual tool, to reharmonize and balance the subconscious mind once again, to a healthy, more stable approach on the way that we receive and give and exchange with each other and with ourselves, and the different the different patterns that we can change patterns. We have the ability. Don't let this fool you, okay? Like, yeah, it's 88% of the mind. Who's going to win, right? The conscious or the subconscious? But I'm telling you, like, we have the conscious choice to be able to um reharmonize and repattern our subconscious um, behaviors. And it's a beautiful thing. We're in a beautiful time. It's time, for sustainability. So for my future clients and for the future people that I would like to see, if you're, interested in having a session of hypnotherapy with me, that is going to be available in about 3 weeks. But, my whole thing is that I could help you sustain yourself. I could walk you through the process of hypnotherapy and do certain sessions if you would like that, and if you desire. But I would be using your words. I would be asking your advice on what you want to tell yourself, because I don't want to get into a state of telling you what to do. I feel like it's a mastery to be a creator of your own reality. And so I want to be able to give people the tools, and the keys of hypnotherapy to even start doing it themselves. So for my practice, it's not so much about a client coming back. It's about like them creating the tools for themselves to do their own self hypnosis. But there is a medicine on receiving hypnosis, because even though I practice hypnosis and study it, I still go and see. Actually, Jess, a songwriter, she's a really great hypnotherapist. I only did my first session with her a few weeks ago, and it just like opened me up, like so much healing that I can't even explain, like so much connection to my higher self. It was so beautiful. It was she's like almost my inspiration. I found this school, but yeah, no. And I've been doing hypnosis for a few years, like here and there with myself mostly. And there's meditation videos online, but you know, we got to get to this space where we are becoming our own healers. And I love the idea of gifting the people these tools to utilize for themselves, and just being people's friends in that case, like we help each other out, and then there's going to be mutual energy exchange. And it's I am the teacher, but I'm also a student. I am i am nothing at all. I don't identify with any categorization of the human language. So it's like we're just here experiencing, and I don't like to take that authoritative state. Um, but in that moment, it's like a service given. When someone comes to me and they need help with something, it's a service given, and I always call on my the powers of the Most High, and so to come and assist. And in that way, I'm not doing any of the work. It's all spirit. So thank you for listening. I pray and in gratitude, and that we can continue to learn with each other. I'll be spreading these videos. It's very new to me, but I feel like I'm getting more comfortable with my personality and things like this. Um, but thank you. Thank you for listening, and have a beautiful day.